Molweni Africa, welcome to Bitesize Democracy, a weekly show focusing on issues around democracy on the African continent. Our show gives a snapshot of what's happening on the continent in fun, informative bite-sized segments. On today's show, we'll be talking about the recently concluded local government elections in South Africa. Please do join in the conversation. Our hashtag is BSDemocracy, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and talk to us on Facebook at African Democratic Institute. And my co-host for today is Tinashe. Welcome back to the show, Tinashe.
Thank you for having me back, Otelia. You know, in the build-up of the election, opinion polls from Ipsos, they've been saying ANC is was said to lose Tshwane, Johannesburg, and Nelson Mandela Bay. And as results came in, the prediction was actually, on that as the ANC lost ground in those cities. And you look at the issues as corruption as one of them. People are actually tired or unsatisfied with the ruling party.
You know, it's very unfortunate that the ruling party, which gave the people their freedom, is now a party that people see as corrupt. Not looking after their needs, and it's very unsettling to see this happen to the ANC.
It's actually sad, and there's this quoting from Jacob Zuma in 2004. He actually said the ANC is going to rule until Jesus comes. But as the situation shows right now, it looks as if the ruling party has actually work to do with the upcoming election in 2019.
So are you ready for the coming of Jesus, Tinashe? Because it looks like Jesus is coming now. And I also think, what could be leading to the loss of the ANC, I think a lot of born frees actually voted for the first time now. And I think a lot of them, although have no direct connection, to apartheid, to how the ANC was the party that actually took South Africa out of apartheid. So I think to them, their connection to the ANC is corruption, unemployment, all these other things that you've mentioned, which is very, very sad.
Yeah, there's this issue also in the campaigning, like when the ANC was using Mandela, and the DA also used Mandela. You look at how people actually for ANC because they feel loyalty through Mandela, but the DA also came through and saying the ANC is actually, has betrayed the struggle. So it's one of those issues actually that have determined the election results in this metropole.
That was very strategic on the DA's part, though. Now, going back to Tshwane, it was a hotbed of protests a few weeks ago. The ANC members there were disgruntled with the fact that the ANC had put forward Choko Didiza as the mayoral candidate, and some even went as far as saying she's Zulu, she cannot come and be a mayor here, but she's actually lived in Tshwane for a while. As you can see, the people are disgruntled, the people are unhappy, so they will channel their frustrations in any way that they can.
So many issues have been raised also in the build-up of the election. There was about 70 protests linked to decent housing, and similarly also in Vuwani, in the Limpopo, there was also a protest that happened in the build-up of the election, and it was all about how the demarcation process, the people of Vuwani were being incorporated to another municipality in Malamulela and Makado. So these issues caused so much damage with the civilian protests against the government. And
speaking of the elections, the hashtag of the week is #IVoted, a short moment to capture a historic day, which is a milestone on our journey towards the South Africa I want. #IVoted. And then the South African government also tweeted, if you haven't voted already, there's still time. Make the right choice and go vote. Together, we move SA forward. #IVoted. Voting is a privilege, Tinashe, and as South Africa celebrates Women's Day today, we celebrate the women of 1956. Over 20,000 women came from all over the country, despite race, despite class, and they marched to the union buildings in Pretoria, to then Prime Minister Stradom's office, to hand a petition with hundreds of thousands of signatures against the past laws. And those women laid a real foundation for this nation.
Some of the women that were actually there include Albertina Sisulu, Helen Joseph, Lele Ngoy, and they actually laid a foundation for the women now. You look at how women's role was in the private, and now it's in the public now, and their role inspiring young leaders today. The likes of Baleka Mbete are now the Speaker of Parliament. The likes of the AU leader, Nkosazana Zuma. And you can look at the women of 1956 and celebrating them as the one thing that South Africa can do to acknowledge their role.
They're really inspirational. Now my girls can also look to being leaders because of the women of 1956. They took that step. When women come together, only great things can come out of that.
Yeah, and there's an interesting actually quote that came from that. That's Watinda Mfazi, Watinda Mbogoto. That actually translates to, if you hit a woman, you hit a rock. And you can actually translate this to women, the solidarity.
It also speaks, to the strength of women, how strong women are. Women are actually the fiber of society. And like the women of 1956, I believe the women of 2016 are also going to do great things. Thank you so much for joining us on this Women's Day as we celebrate the strong and beautiful women of South Africa. Join us again next week as we focus on Gabon, the political landscape as they celebrate 56 years of independence. We'll have a discussion in Gabon. Thank you so much for joining us. Salani Kahle, Africa.